How long will these damp conditions last, Evan?
Well, it looks like a couple more days. It's one of these patterns, just like last week, we saw a lot of sunshine that stuck around for days. Now we're going to see some of the cloudy skies, the rain, the mist, and the drizzle sticking around for a couple of days as well. As we take a look at the radar right now, again, not a lot showing up. We had a few steadier showers around the midday hours, but notice now tracking just a few light showers through parts of Chesapeake and Virginia Beach and down into northeastern North Carolina, northern Camden and Currituck counties. Mainly just some light rain. The rest of us, there is a little bit of mist and drizzle around, but the heaviest of these light showers right along the state line. Again, southern Virginia Beach down towards Moyock, South Mills, and just north of Snowden. So we will look for a couple of these showers as we go through the rest of the evening. We have an area of low pressure that's situated just off the coastline. Those winds coming in out of the northeast, keeping these low clouds right through here across eastern Virginia and North Carolina. And as long as we have those northeast winds over the next couple of days, I think we'll still see that flow coming in off the Atlantic, and we'll still see these low clouds and temperatures cooler than we should normally expect this time of year. And Futurecast really bears that out pretty well with just the cloudy skies. Again, some spotty mist around, maybe a few breaks here right before sunset, but I think later tonight definitely those low clouds will start to work their way back in, likely looking at some fog through coastal areas and through much of the day tomorrow. Very similar to today. Readings in the upper 50s to low 60s, and through the afternoon, Futurecast is going a little bit bully with the chances for showers, so we'll say about a 40% chance for some of that wet weather around tomorrow. Notice inland spots quite a bit warmer as you get away from the influence of those northeast winds up into the low 70s, but I think it'll be likely to be in the 50s through many of the coastal areas through the afternoon. More of the same tomorrow evening with the low clouds, winds coming in out of the northeast. A little bit of improvement on Wednesday. Still some low clouds around, but I think some of that will finally start to work off towards the east by late in the day, and we might see some late day clearing as we get into Wednesday. But again, another cloudy and cool day with that mist and drizzle around, and that's what we've seen pretty much all day today. Every once in a while, those clouds would lower, sort of obscure the buildings in downtown Norfolk. We could see a few raindrops showing up here on the camera lens as well, and still got the cloudy skies out there right now. Temperature of 59 degrees, those northeast winds at 10 miles per hour, humidity 83%. And again, back inland, 70 degrees Richmond, 71 in Tappahannock, but we're in the 50s along the coastline. That's again the influence of those winds coming in out of the northeast off the bay and the ocean. So areas of rain, drizzle and fog, 57 degrees, quite breezy and cool, 62 tomorrow. Not much change from what we saw today. Cloudy, wet at times, especially into the afternoon. Drizzle and fog tomorrow night down to 57, drizzle and a few showers on Wednesday, 65 degrees, and then a big change on Thursday. High temperature of 80 degrees with partly sunny skies. A little bit of a drop on Friday, 74, mostly sunny and looking nice on Saturday, 81 degrees, and for Mother's Day, Sunday, 86, a pretty warm one, 84 degrees on Monday with an outside chance of a shower.